Hi and welcome again to this new segment, November 3, and we had some movement, mostly on the news and things like that, but also on operations. Let's start with, yet again, with the US President Donald Trump that gave some interesting remarks regarding the situation in Venezuela. Well, first, on the Air Force One, yeah, we are accustomed to that, giving some weird statements. He leaked that if an operation is going to happen in Venezuela, it's going to be a surprise. It's not going to tell the press. And later, it was published an interview on CBS, yet again regarding the situation on Venezuela, and the reporter asked if Maduro's days as president of Venezuela are counted, and Trump just flat out say, I will say yeah. And regarding this, Trump being Trump, the reporter asked about the aircraft carrier, that if we need an aircraft carrier in the Caribbean, and Trump just said, well, it's a big ship, so we need to put it somewhere, and the best place for Trump is the Caribbean. And lastly, yet again, on this particular interview on CBS, yet again, he was asked, they're beating this dead horse, if Trump is gonna order strikes inside Venezuela. And Trump flat out just say, if I'm gonna do it, I'm not gonna tell you, a reporter. So, makes sense. Also, we saw on the Wall Street Journal an op-ed piece, you know, an opinion piece, the journal saying an article on how to attack Maduro and quote unquote create a regime change. And the suggestion of this op-ed is striking the counterintelligence agency, the military counterintelligence agency known as the GESIM or DGCIM. And this is according to the writer of the article. Also, we heard about the Trump's administration counter-terrorist czar, Sebastian Gorka, and apparently, according to him, the reasons in order to act against, in Venezuela, against the government of Maduro, is not only about narcotics or migration, but it's deeper than that. He mentions the ties with Iran, and apparently plans, assassination plans, linked to the people on the administration, but including also Trump and Marco Rubio, according to this gentleman Sebastian Gorka, and the ties with Iran, like I said. So it's priority for the U.S. regarding counterterrorism operation. Okay, now the biggest, operational news regarding, this situation right now between the U.S. and Venezuela. I'm sorry, is about the revamping of the Puerto Rico air base, the U.S. air base in Puerto Rico, known as Roosevelt Road, that it was partly shut down, decommissioned in 2004, but apparently it's been revamped. It's been, you know, has suffering some renovations in order to accommodate military assets in the Caribbean for a possible Caribbean theater operation that includes, of course, landing strips for the vessels, for the planes, the F-35s that we already have reports on that, the cargo planes, the refueling jets, the every kind of U.S. military aircraft. And that comes from Reuters, but it's an information that we had since almost 2 months, since a weeks later, this military buildup just started. So, but apparently they are putting also some troops, some equipment, and the operation, this airbase apparently is close to being fully operational in order to be used on a potential theater of operations in the Caribbean, and at this moment it's pointing out to be used on operations in Venezuela. That remember that Puerto Rico geographically is just around 600 miles to the Venezuelan shore, so it's relatively close, just a stone thrown away. And also the ships, the vessels of the U.S. Navy have been parked on several times on ports in Puerto Rico. Now, also we had an interview of the Qatar's foreign affairs minister, I believe. I believe that is his charge. He works with the Qatar diplomacy, things like that. He gave an interview to CNN, and according to this gentleman, the situation in Venezuela will be resolved in a negotiation table. We have several reports, and this is, open source, that Qatar has been mediating between the US and Venezuela. They have good relationship with Maduro's government, and they have been doing, some deals, some diplomatic, channels in order to solve the situation in Venezuela. And according to this gentleman, Trump always likes to negotiate, looking for a win-win situation. Now, well, very good for Qatar to be meddling and doing negotiations and trying to look for a peaceful resolution. However, there is a slight problem with Qatar's approach, is that I don't see a channel of negotiations with the opposition leaders that actually represent the people of Venezuela. So I don't know if Qatar cares about it, but in order to solve the situation, you need the opposition. And the other report that we got is that Qatar was talking with quote-unquote opposition people that are actually not representing the opposition in Venezuela. The opposition, according to the US, and this is according to the US, is Edmundo Gonzalez and Maria Corina Machado. And Qatar, I don't have any report that they have some sort of diplomatic relationship with them. So I don't know how that is going to end. I know they have excellent diplomatic relationship with the government of Maduro, and we have mentioned this, and I think it's a good thing. But so you have like a standoff there. So it's a little bit of the game is just locked on that regard. So, well, that will be all for the news today. Remember, we're gonna do this daily updates in order to check everything out. What's going on play by play. This is, of course, a very complicated situation, the military buildup and the pressure and all that jazz. So thanks again for listening, and we will see each other on the next video.